they fly through the sky. They crack the shields onto one. There's just so much distance from Swizzy. They're trying to rotate in that direction. Finally, they get another opportunity, and it works. Vanya goes down. Swizzy has finally come down. He's ready to steal this game away. They have 12 eliminations, already matching their last game win.
Directly behind the team on low ground, though, and Merstach, Swizzy, they're starting to drop. They're trying to see if they can close this one out. Queasy finds a knot. Davis is away with it. No one left to challenge them. Kings of the Mountain.
If you were to ask Swizzy trying to stop the Surf Juice, he's going to be the first one that does go down. But Merstach, Queasy, that's a huge signal. That's a huge sign. They're trying to get away from this catalyst on the low ground.
But Queasy and Merstach are the only ones that away with it. No one left to challenge them. Kings of the
Last game, we've got to talk about the head-to-head. Queasy, Merstach, and Swizzy versus Vanya, Merstach, and Pixie.
I mean, I want to thank to every fan that came here watching us, and even if you're not here but watching, I want to say thanks to everyone. It's biggest support ever.
conversation here with Queasy and with Bob Andy.
It is time once again. We are ready to jump back aboard that battle bus. Game number 2 starts right now.
Win that off-spawn fight, you have to make each and every single one of those games count, and they're already making it sure that they get those eliminations, and they even take down some of the top teams in their path. We'll switch on over to Hive. Kind of business as usual as Merstach gets the down on the Goofy from across the map. But there's too much space, there's too much distance, and you look at their loadout, they don't have a ton of crash pads, they don't have a lot of Flowberry Fizz that they're using together, so they're not going to be able to easily rotate on over to get the elimination.
Also an issue with Swizzy having just been freshly knocked. That's going to mean that Merstach is now on revive responsibility, and then immediately straight back to trying to acquire additional surge from across the way. Oceania, though, definitely sending some presence back towards the way of EU. We'll have to check up and see. Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstach, though, they've already found their spot in this lobby, and it's straight towards height.
Queasy has one motto: take height, don't get eliminated. And obviously in the first game, they gave it up because they didn't want to go down. This time is their chance. 400 plus damage above the threshold, and it's continuously counting upward, and they pull the zone. That is the biggest difference from game 1 to game 2. They now have the front side, and they have full control. And Pronouncey trying to fly his way in. He instantly gets knocked down, and now it's up to Pablo, Chino, and they're not immediately trying to drop down low. They're trying to assess the situation and figure out if they can take it.
Chino's been on fire. Pablo, still 3 eliminations too, but 11 elims despite losing Proxy. This is still a classic scenario for Pablo and Chino. They might still be able to make it work. They're trying to see if they can figure out, maybe take away a little bit of an advantage play, because these teams are looking for pre-edits in the mid-round and even in the lower layers, but they're not going to allow it. Merstach, Swizzy, and Queasy are the real threat right now, though. They just continue to apply steady pressure to those mid layers. It's a big part of the reason why these teams are just getting so picked apart in between.
And you're seeing, as soon as they made it inside of the zone, they reconnected, making it that much harder for anybody to take them down. Marius, he's now trying to move up. 10 damage above the threshold. At least they're in front of the curve. Quickly looking towards the right, Curly, Cooper, and Reed. That was their momentary target, but they realize they have to stay ahead of the zone. They cannot get too greedy and fall behind.
But nobody can come close to Queasy and Merstach. They're just still overtaking the high ground. King, big time though. Picks eliminated. PH Sin soon to follow though. If he's not careful, he's gonna be forced to pull back here. But King and PH Sin, hit by hip. Flowberry Fizz punishing as much shield as they possibly can, because they have to keep moving forward, playing back the zone, because they have no materials. They're going to be forced to drop another layer. Height's not going to allow them to press forward any longer, and they might just drop directly into Epic Whale's hands.
You're seeing a lot of the damage again. Higgs goes down. Pixie cleans that one up. Queasy gets the knock onto Iyamzo. They're making sure that they make it count, that they got high ground in this game. 5 eliminations, and once again, they're connecting it. They're reinforcing. They're making sure nobody has a chance to contest them on the high ground.
Everybody underneath them is just a victim at this point, Jacob. Marius, Vanya, and Pixie seemingly undiscovered for the time being, though. Kanata in a little spot of trouble here. Just saw him take a massive chunk of his shield. Pixie now looking to play the medkit from the back of zone. Swizzy, though, shutting down Vanya the moment that he tries to push forward. And Merstach directly assisting here. Bolt stuck here, rocking a hard place, and Madi is going to be knocked. Marius eliminated, essentially. There's no way his teammates are going to be able to get to him.
Yeah, and you're also seeing Kanata fall, Rapid down. Not sure about both, but things are going sideways very quickly, and it gets even more worse because Zone is pulling over that mountain. If you didn't prepare for it, it's going to be lights out, but Swizzy trying to stop Surf Juice. He's going to be the first one that does go down. But Merstach, Queasy, that's a huge signal. That's a huge sign. They're trying to get away from this catalyst on the low ground.
But Queasy and Merstach are the only ones that made it to the mountaintop, and Queasy, it is just raining down from above. Queasy continuing to find those eliminations. Pump gonna be dropped. It's only Baka and Yetko, and Panzer's been eliminated too. Queasy and Merstach away with it. No one left to challenge them. Kings of the mountain.
If you were to ask anybody, who do you think is gonna win? M8 is all what the crowd wants to see. And now 2 of their favorite players in the world just picked up a Game 2 victory royale. Just lighting up the arena as we speak, and you're seeing the looks on their face. Now I want to know what they're thinking. Frankie, let us know.
Merstach, you have made the Gentlemates more happy than they have ever been here in Lyon. What's it like to take the second victory royale here?
I mean, it's nice, feeling nice. I want to win more games, we're going to win more games, and they're going to scream more louder with every game.
I think they will. Queasy, it felt like in game 1, you tried to take the high ground maybe a bit too early. You couldn't hold it. This time round, there were no mistakes. How did you make sure the plan went flawlessly?
I mean, it's never too early. Like, even first game, if we got some lucky pulls, we could have had it. 4 pulls we had, and then they pulled over the water and was kind of unlucky we couldn't get it. But game 2, we got some favors in our way, and that's it.
You don't need luck to win this, Queasy.
Cette fois, ils n'ont pas laissé passer l'occasion. Il a dit cette fois, ils l'ont pris cette hauteur et ils sont allés au bout. What's the plan now for the next games?
Keep going high and playing our game, that's it.
Le plan de jeu il est clair. On va jouer la hauteur à toutes les parties et on va aller chercher d'autres victoires. Big shout out, bravo to Queasy, Merstach and Swizzy!
Now, Merstach, earlier on we did practice the Gentlemates chant. Do you want to give it one more go?
Yeah. Are you ready, guys? Gentle! Gentle!
Very good. Very, very good indeed. One more time though. Gentle, gentle, gentle! We're going to hear so much more from these crowds and these players after this short break. Do not go anywhere.
Tay in a full trio is Swizzy, Merstach, 2 different bases towards the sky, and with the zone pulling a whole different direction this game than the previous 2, it looks like it's pulling south, maybe a western lean. Swizzy and Merstach and Queasy, they have the luxury of waiting for all of these teams from the north to rotate down into them, and that means easy surge for the first place team.
And Merstach wasting absolutely 0 time alongside Swizzy, locking in some of these early surge tags. A little bit of hide and seek, but it's gonna be Merstach coming out on top yet again. Goofy knocked, but
Zone is slightly moving up over that mountain. They realize no other team is in their path. It's now or never.
But the problem is they've got Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstach on height, beaming everybody underneath them. These guys guys are applying so much steady and consistent pressure that nobody's having a chance to look up just yet. They've spotted out a team tunneling through. It's Malibuka and Walks trying to see if they can break through from that secondary height position, but with Queasy now overtaking the front side, overtaking front side height. Now everybody else stuck underneath. This is everything for Queasy, Merstach, and Swizzy.
And just in the back pocket, you see 6 splashes, the exotic Slapberry Fizz, which heals HP, a just in case, but up goes Pixie. They're trying to go for that opportunity, but Mario says, no, 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 we need to disengage. We cannot go for it, at least not right now, but he's taking so much damage on his way down. But Swizzy distracted for a short moment. A lot of his shields go out the window. Luckily for him, his entire trio is still there. 2,000 damage above the threshold. They won last game with 12 eliminations, and they're well on their way to do it again.
And that's the problem for everybody else in this lobby, is that Queasy, he is just tarping fully unleashed. Nobody there to stop his path. 2 of them, the best fraggers in the world by his side. And Kanata, he is down and out for the count. Bolts, Rapid, trying to see if they can secure a strong, at least break into that top 5 placement maybe. But Yamzo, Higgs, also a little bit scattered here. Yamzo's gonna fall. It's Higgs who's trying to come up big time here. Big elimination though for Higgs. Gonna buy him a little bit of a lifeline. He's doing everything he can to try and play through this backside of zone. The Siphon's still carrying him just a bit further. But Marius, Vanya, Pixie, they're looking to layer swap. They know they don't have enough, and Marius taking out the moment that he tries to chop through.
He just gets stuck. That 1 second cost him what could be an opportunity here. Pixie's just trying to make it to the front side of the zone. He's just getting cut down every step of the way, but finally reuniting with Vanya. This is their moment. They have to figure out a way to make this count. They're missing a huge chunk of HP. They're using what they can out of the med mist, but there's still a whole team on high ground and another team lurking underneath. That's Chap, Savage, and Reason. They're making every single one of these uncontested games count as Vanya's making a play, challenging for the high ground. He has it for now, but how long can he hold on to it?
Vanya doesn't even care that it's just a 2 versus 3. He still tries to take that challenge, but Swizzy immediately, not against my IGL. I've got the backup here. Swizzy taking him out. Vanya, sorry that it's a fellow gentleman, but it's just business, not personal. Cammy also eliminated for Stash. Now trying to see if he can take out Chap along the way, but Savage, Mr. Savage still making it work.
This is it. It's basically all EU here in the endgame. Chap down below, trying to make a play. He's gonna get cut short. Reason as well. It's all up to Savage, but no, the entire trio ends up back in the lobby. Swizzy has finally come down. He's ready to steal this game away. They have 12 eliminations, already matching their last game win.
Don't count out Pix, Darman, Demons, though. These guys love winning through the low ground. We've seen them do it time and time again, and Queasy with no materials. Pix also no materials. I drop lurking directly behind the team on low ground, though, and Merstach, Swizzy, they're starting to drop. They're trying to see, but they can close this one out. Queasy finds a knot. Demus is out. Queasy going for the back-to-back. It is all Queasy, Merstach, and Swizzy for a Game 3 victory royale.
It's only taken 3 games to get our first team with not only multiple victory royales, but the back-to-back 12 eliminations in that last game. More than that in this game. We are looking what could possibly be a great team in the making. Frankie, don't you agree?
I really do agree. The fans in Leon again going absolutely wild for this team. Queasy coming into the Global Championships. They said that this competition was going to be owned by North America, but right now it's being owned by the High Ground Kings. How was that game? Just a complete repeat of the second.
I mean, we're just playing our game, that's it. Just playing endgame, playing height, and that's it. Nothing more.
But why isn't anyone able to challenge you for that height right now? We've got huge names. In fact, in that last game, all of our top 5 trios made it to the end game, but you still came out on top.
I mean, I feel like it's the hardest of the hardest. It's hard to have a good mid game. A lot of teams are contested, so just hope we stay uncontested and we'll probably win.
You mentioned being uncontested. You may regret that. Benji, à toi.
Yeah, Swizzy, excuse me, Swizzy. Man, 3 games, 2 victory royale. What's your secret, guys? What's your secret?
Take height, don't die.
Le secret, c'est de prendre la hauteur et de pas mourir. have you got any words for your fans, for the Gentleman fans?
Jungle? That's it. Jungle?
Gentle! Thank you, guys.
Merstach, what an incredible global championships for you so far. Is it all about the calls that this man is making, or is it all the chants that the M8 fans are making?
It's everything. Queasy, Agile Gold, fans, crazy, just best fans ever. Can't ask for better fans.
They're definitely proving themselves to be some of the most incredible fans in esports right now. However, we're halfway through our games today on day one in Lyon. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be evaluating everything so far.
Merstach and Swizzy looking to control the dam, and that's the most important part of Foxy Floodgate. If you have the dam control, you have all of height.
Yep, top 17 though, this is where placement points are going to start to set in and cascade further with each and every team that does get wiped off the lobby. Merstach, Queasy, Swizzy, they are not backing down, they are not shaking, they're just terrorizing everybody around the lobby. Pars really feeling the pain there, and that's because they have that bird's eye view. Nobody is contesting Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstach on the high ground, and look exactly what's happening because of it.
There needs to be studies done on Queasy's brain, because this position is absolutely unreal. Mr. Savage, Jap, trying to do what they can to push back against Swizzy's pressure, but it's just so difficult to try and take those bloom battles from overhead, Jacob. This is so much leverage over the rest of the lobby, and Swizzy now trying to make sure that he doesn't find himself eating more damage than what he bargained for, but still he has Merstach to depend on. The moment that Swizzy's shields get cracked, he falls back, and Merstach immediately picks up the slack. All of the congestion is very likely to start pooling into. That's just open season now for Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach.
Savage team 2 points away from hitting that top 5. And the thing is, they were 1 point away, almost missing the Major 3 Grand Finals. They were 2 points in that last spot to secure the global spot. A miracle run is coming out as Queasy, once again, almost 2,000 damage, back-to-back games above the threshold. Yapko, fans are setting, they're feeling the pressure from up above. You see a huge lack of not only materials, but resources as well as he gets cut short. The wall breaks him off, he's gonna go down, but for Yapko and Seti, this is everything.
They're still trying to see what kind of placement points they might be able to collect. Every little bit counts for that team, but Vanya, secondary height, Cammy, Hadi, and iDrop, they've also been rather quiet throughout today, Jacob, but that could change in an instant. Mr. Savage, Reason, and Chap now trying to make sure that their back tarp is fully closed off, but Savage not having the opportunity yet to keep building through. Chap picking up where his IGL left off. That is always what you would hope for in a team. Iyamzo is sadly going to have to play it through with just Higgs though, and this is a tough spot to be in unless Higgs finds a big elimination for the refresh.
That was not only points for the elimination, but placement points as well as the full trios wiped off the map. Acorn, Savage, King, Tayson all going down. Yamso as well. A good shot being landed, but not good enough. He gets steamrolled by Darm. Marius is the one who took down Poyo. Him and Vanya are feeling the pain as well, because they have to do it without Pixie.
But they've at least got frontside low control, and that's gonna have to be enough. They're gonna need as many eliminations as possible because they need more materials, and we haven't even started the conversation of how to deal with Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach up above everybody else in this lobby looking substantially healthier too.
I feel like I've seen this episode of Fortnite before. Game 2, Game 3, and it's looking like it could be possible for Game 4. 370 points and counting. Only 2 teams in front of him, both of them weak. Vanya trying to do what he can, but he only has one teammate, Marius as well, but the full trio up above. They get the wipe onto one. They're looking to close this one out as well. Marius in his line of sight, but Swizzy, he takes a big shot. That's a surprise attack, but luckily for him, his two teammates have his back. Merstach gets the drop onto Marius, stays alive. They're targeting out Vanya. 3v1 situation, and they go back to win another game.
When have you ever seen on the global stage the trip skis of victory royales? Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach are setting a new precedent here in the 2025 Globals performance, Jacob. This is insanity what we are witnessing right now, and they deserve all of the credit. But Frankie, let me know what else they have to say.
This is incroyable, Leon! Swizzy, please stand up. Can you believe this is happening?
Yeah, I knew we were gonna win.
You knew it. You are playing like you knew it too. Queasy, you've been to so many of these events, but I don't think this has ever happened to you. Back to back to back. Surely you can't believe what's happening right now.
I mean, I can. We practice a lot. So just lucky it's paying off right now. We need to just keep playing and hopefully we'll win.
It's been really interesting to also see what's happening with the North American teams. On the analyst desk, they were talking about the fact that in North America, the top teams are conditioning the lobby all the way through the season, but that's not happening on Globals. Is it simply a case of not fearing the competition, of not believing their hype?
I mean, we're just playing our play style. There's like nothing, like we're not gonna play low ground if we don't know how to play low ground. So we're just staying on high and playing that, you know.
Actually, you did well for 3 games, for your team, but also for the crowd. Are you proud of that?
Yeah, I'm so proud. I'm proud of my fans, I'm proud of my teammates, like, they're crazy.
And for you, will you keep the high ground for the next 9 games again?
I mean, the strat is take high, don't die. That's it.
Ils vont continuer comme ils peuvent, mais ils donnent beaucoup d'énergie pour vous, ils sont très fiers pour vous et aussi leur communauté et surtout leur trio. Thank you very much, it's crazy. You have another word for your crowd over there just in front of you.
I mean, I want to thank to every fan that came here watching us, and even if you're not here but watching, I want to say thanks to everyone. It's the biggest support ever.
Thank you.
Leon, one more time, please show your appreciation for Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach! We are heading to a break. We'll be back with game number 5.
Catching glimpses of Kanata, Bolt, and Rapid in the distance. And of course, Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstach steadily starting to scale their way up towards an elevated position, but there's several other teams nearby that have the same intentions.
Yeah, if you guys see multiple teams in the distance, Thunderbolt striking down, that Storm Surge, even though Swizzy, Queasy, Merstach don't exactly know those teams are below it, they will hear the shields crack. King's gonna go down, but Poyo is the one that's potentially stealing away those points. And maybe even the loot as it fully gets cleaned up. Swizzy, Queasy, Merstach put the full target down on a PH in. He's just trying to get some of that loot from his fallen comrade.
Do Swizzy and Merstach ever miss?
No.
The answer's gonna be no. Okay,
No.
PA's in, eliminated. Merstach with another one. But that's actually gonna be the first one of this lobby. They've just been collecting so many eliminations throughout today's lobbies, Jacob. It's almost crazy to think that that's their first, but Queasy could be in trouble. Does manage to break away. Zone pulling a little bit away from those mountain faces, so as a duo, they can still look to break through the low ground, but Queasy, Merstach, Swizzy, Gentlemate's going absolutely ballistic in this audience right now, and for good reason. Merstach said it, we're just gonna keep winning, and they've got 3 already at the international level, Jacob. A land historic event, and they're still looking to see if they can get more.
We are literally watching the Queasy legacy in the making. Levin said it himself. The last time Queasy won 3 games in a row, he went on not only to win that major, but win 6 out of 12 games. Something that has never been done on that region of EU. Nobody has even had an opportunity to look up. They're attached at the backside of zone. They're attached right in the middle. It's not even going to be easy when somebody eventually does.
But that's the problem. Nobody else can actually make their way up towards the high ground because Sweezy, Queasy, and Merstach refuse to budge. They just keep shutting down every single opportunity, forcing these teams to converge onto each other as iDrop now trying to see if he can collect an elimination there, a knock, anything. He needs a massive refresh here, but it's Pixie who finds Hadi, Marius, Pixie, and Vanya now looking to see what more they can seek out.
4 eliminations so far into the top 12. Placement points are flying in. Half of them, at least at the top 8, is Veno, Vico. They're in that line of path. Marius looking up for only a quick second, not really focusing on the Queasy up above. It's probably too hard. You see the materials being drained right out of their inventory. Everybody else feeling the same thing, forcing Yamzo, Higgs, and Clicks to drop down low. The blessing is they're in the front side of zone, so they have a little bit more to work with.
But the control from Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach on the high ground, Jacob, they're forcing all of these teams to swap players to ultimate low, and with that in mind, Merstach, Queasy, Swizzy, just non-stop berating. These teams are forced, they're looking up, they're looking down, they're trying to find refreshes, but they have no breathing room. They are being suffocated right now by height.
With the conversations going on before the Global Championship, Boom probably smiling ear to ear right now with EU doing the performance that they are, but Canada Bolts, they're trying to channel how they played in game number 1, finds a key elimination on Dorit, not just elimination points, but placements as well. Cammy falls, more points from the lobby. Swizzy's trying to drop down low, he's just getting loot, he's bringing it back up to his IGL.
And that is all Swizzy has to keep tabs on alongside Merstach. Everything getting dropped at Queasy's feet so he can have the ultimate success here. But Marius, he's in too much trouble. Marius trying to squeeze away. It's Vico, it's Veno, and Flixie chasing them down. They know that they're gonna have to clear out all of these players inside of these lower layers if they want a real shot at beating Queasy up on height.
Yeah, if there's any team that I think has a chance to look up and at least give them a fight, it is going to be them, as Marius is forced outside of the zone, almost a 1v1 against Clicks, and Clicks gets the knock. Can he get the elimination? No, he can't. No siphon for him, but the battle, the inevitability is finally here. Vico's taking charge, but he's also taking most of that damage. Flixie's forced to reload. Veno is in that mid-cut as well, a challenge that they did not find success on, but relatively so. Even if they might not have the high ground, they put Queasy and Merstach on the back foot.
And that's the problem, Queasy, Merstach, they could still tank a little bit of zone here just because of that exotic fizz, but at the same time, Vico, Veno, Flixie, they're now trying to remind everybody this might be Queasy's tourney so far, but we still want to take the from that. Merstach finding the biggest elimination on the Veno, the siphon carrying him forward, the hopes of Gentleman now resting on his shoulders. Flixie trying to hang. Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach, they're taking a much more tactical approach. Queasy, the mastermind, you have to remember, back at the Invitational in 2022, he was the one that made the decision. I want to land on them, I want to challenge it, and it's not as direct, but it's still there.
Jacob, this is a strategy. They know they land OXR. They're waiting on top of the mountain. They want to rain down the shots as they fly through the sky.
They crack the shields onto 1. There's just so much distance before he reaches the ground. He's out of render distance overall. Instantly comes the crash pad. Merstach, Queasy, Swizzy, they're trying to rotate in that direction. Finally, they get another opportunity, and it works! Vanya goes down! Merstach, Swizzy, and Queasy are going after second place.
But what's gonna be there faster? The double revive or Swizzy, Merstach, and Queasy, they're doing everything they can to try and collapse onto this position. Vanya's already been back up into the running, but they're going all in here. Swizzy, Queasy, Merstach, they're looking to control their own destiny. They want to take down Vanya. They want to make it so that game 12 isn't even close. But Merstach, Queasy, Swizzy, they're just not able to close the gap. And Merstach, he's lost too much HP. He's going to be forced to fall back.
This is it. This is the moment. Why wait till game 12? Marius, Pixie, and Vanya, they've given an opportunity here to take down first place and potentially take that spot. Few points separate them, and Swizzy's probably realizing their backs are up against the wall, maybe even second-guessing this decision to go ahead and try to surprise attack them. But they have the low ground. Marius, Pixie, Vanya, they have the high ground, and since they do have that, they have the decision to hold and pressure them down below or rotate out like you see here.
No risk, no story though, and Marius a little bit split apart here. Merstach, Swizzy,
Oh my
they're still
God.
chasing them all the way down to the bird to go. These guys are full on fighting inside of the storm. It's early zone tick, so they don't have to worry too heavily, but it's the storm sickness, Jacob. Both of these teams are delaying their own endgame.
It's something that we saw come into play in that last game, the storm sickness, getting chunks of HP ripped off in the end game, but they're continuing to go. They want to chase this one down, but Pixie on the other side, he's the most elevated. Vanya, he's on the low ground trying to heal the best that he can, but so Pixie is making sure to defensively hold that high ground. Marius as well, Flowberry Fizz, just make sure to top off the shields. That way they can force them down further and further. They continuously are getting chased, but you say, you know what? You want to fight? Come get it.
They're throwing everything at this one. The inventory, all of the heals, they're disappearing. Marius is becoming fully aware that the investment is soon becoming not worth it. How aggressive they're gonna get. They're coming right box to box, wall to wall right now.
But think about the biggest differences here. Queasy's team, they're not actually carrying shotguns. All they have is the Wrecker revolvers in comparison to Marius, who's rocking both, but it's a gray sentinel at best. And that Wrecker revolver just not able to get close enough. Pixie, Vanya, Marius essentially at a standstill right now with Queasy.
They have the majority of the heals. You already see the slurp juice in the inventory, med kits being used. Essentially almost 200 HP and shields combined between these two, so they do have a little bit more of an upper hand. And I think Marius knows they're running out of HP resources to keep this fight going longer, so they are definitely now officially on the clock this deep in the zone, and it's only the fourth one overall. Merstach and them still have splashes underneath. Vanya's dropping, almost gets boxed up. Merstach has his head on a swivel, continuously turning around, but Taco talked about the double pump, and there it is in action. Marius is able to get the knock onto one, but he gets dropped to 30 HP. They desperately need the siphon, but oh no! Disaster strikes! Pixie is now the last one alive! Merstach and Swizzy, they lose Queasy, but it's only a knock. He's quickly going for the revive. A miracle in the making as Pixie falls!
They got all three! That's all that they needed! The space has been created, but now they have to capitalize on it. It's one thing to take them out, it's another to keep building on the lead overall. Queasy, Merstach, and Swizzy, this game has just begun.
But they see that coming. They want to continue to rotate in. Right next to them, Queasy, Merstach, Swizzy, all trying to get this elevation differential for this next zone.
But just above them on the other side of this mountain face, Kanata, Rapid, Bolts, they see the crash pad. Merstach, he's been clipped. Merstach is brought down. Swizzy also incredibly low. They're going to be forced to drop all the way down. That height security that they were once hoping for has been completely lost here. Queasy, the healthiest member of his team, but he's got nobody next to him. He can't get close to Swizzy.
And that's that investment. What goes around comes around. If you want to sit in storm and fight between first and second place, you want that one to be drawn out. You want to invest everything you have into it. Once you realize that you got to make one of these rotations all the way up the mountain, all of these aimers kind of paying attention to you, you realize quickly you don't have what it takes to survive in this lobby.
Oh my, second, third, and fourth. I talked about them being out. And now fifth place has just lost their IGL and Rapid, and it's Queasy and Swizzy that are doing the majority of that damage as they try to make their way into the zone.
But Queasy can't get down. He has no mats. They were all on Swizzy and Merstach. They hadn't had a chance to actually drop any of their materials. He does see a crash pad. He's trying to bring Swizzy up with him. And now Swizzy manages to connect. What a brilliant play from Queasy. Most players would have probably taken that for themselves, but he said, nah, you're coming back up here with me.
That's just a shine. That's just a glimpse. That is 7,000 IQ and the selfless plays and why we call him one of the greatest No, forget that. That's why we call him one of the greatest Fortnite players in the history of the game. And he's looking to prove it. If he could just close out these last 2 games, even with the loss of Merstach, there's still 1,100 damage above the threshold as they land a couple more shots. Now 1,200 and continuously rolling.
But this is a really healthy trio. Cooper, Curly, Reed. I don't know that that's what Queasy's really looking to chase up. He's not trying to bark up the wrong tree here. After all, they've got to be a little bit more reserved here, Vivid. They don't want to overextend their welcome.
I mean, they're in the mix of things right now. They've gotten a couple of shots on a couple of trios right there. Maybe they can make something happen. As I say that, Queasy actually gets knocked. Now it's going to be all left to Swizzy. Swizzy gets knocked down. First, second, third, fourth, all out of the competition.
It's so easy to want to hit the autopilot if you're in Queasy's position. You start to see the lights. You start to think, that could be us, our name. The crowd is chanting. But the same case scenario for Vanya as well. They're still looking to try and overtake first place. And if Merstach, Swizzy, and Queasy get lobby focused, that could be the ultimate difference maker. But instead, Swizzy fires back. It's going to be a takedown. The elimination couldn't have come at a better time.
And that's 4 more points for them, inching themselves closer and closer to it being mathematically impossible for anybody to catch up. But again, no placement points just yet. That can truly shake things up, especially since they have a max pull across the map and a few teams trying to make and mirror that same rotation. First comes the crash pad, then the Flowberry Fizz, and they can continue that rotation until they make the zone. But Taco, more than half of this zone is over open water.
Not only that, but Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstach, they are white line crash padding straight towards the next zone. The fact that nobody has taken a shot at them along the way, it's a bold maneuver, but it pans out heavily in their favor, and they're continuing to scale their way down. You saw Ritual get eliminated yet again. Sasser striking for some teams in front of Queasy, but better still, Seti, Panzer, and Yapko. They've still got a lot to settle here in this lobby. They find another elimination onto Adapter. Valor already taken care of by Visuals and a Minish, but Braids on the other side of these walls. Seti can't continue pressing forward. They're stuck inside their own build. That is until Yapko finds the elimination onto Visuals.
Yeah, much needed elimination as well. They were only 8 damage above the threshold. That's not a feeling of comfortability at all. Now they go for 300, but dropping back down low. That just goes to show how active this lobby actually is, but they continue to steamroll. Merstach, Swizzy, and Queasy find their 3rd elimination of the game, taking down NA West.
And you know that Vanya thinks the Amadius, they can see it all in the elimination feed. 3 additional elims for Swizzy, Merstach, and Queasy. They have so much ground to cover just from placement points alone, and the elims are doing them no favors whatsoever. But Merstach, Swizzy, it's like Queasy told them, just be off the leash, do whatever you want, just find those eliminations.
Up there it goes, School. Trying to drop down low. He's the first one to get knocked. Sauko followed in that trend. He was trying to be a hero, but ends up a 0, leaving Arc all by himself. That's a ton of pressure for one of the youngest, one of the most aggressive players on his region, but active surge for Pars, Pump, and Baka. 136 below the damage threshold. It does not matter if they 62 points. That's the difference between first and second place. And the time is truly running out. They have to make sure Queasy, Merstach, and Swizzy somehow go down outside of the top 8 as they continue to move through. It's becoming more and more impossible. There's 600 plus damage above the threshold. They're looking down to the backside of the zone, trying to figure out where the weakness is for any of these trios trying to rotate in. Even with Kanata down below, they're lurking, no visual audios. But if you look at the sky, that's Marius, Vanya, and Pixie, but they lose Vanya throughout this mix. They're on that middle ground where all the chaos ensues.
Vanya just barely managing to start to get his life back up to a healthy level. Swizzy, Merstach, Queasy though, they see the high ground. They're starting to go for the chop. Malabuka gonna be forced to drop eventually, but can Malabuka even get down in the first place? I don't think so. He's Queasy, they don't hesitate. They're immediately surging upwards. They know height domination is where the thrill will be tested.
On the high ground right now, they're getting challenged, but they're fighting for it all. It's Pixie, it's Marius, and Vanya. If they want the win, this is the moment right here. Swizzy goes down. Merstach has fallen. It is all up to Queasy and Taco. There are more than enough points still left on the board for them to overtake the first place spot, but they have to survive. Vanya goes down. Marius is gonna have to pop that slurp juice and reunite with Pixie.
Queasy, Swizzy, and Merstach leading the charge. They had such a monumental lead over the entirety of the lobby, but it still all came down to the wire. They knew it was a marathon from the get-go, but they sprinted across the finish line to claim the title as your 2025 global champions.
Almost 700 points, 3 victory royales. They have done it.
It almost seems as if it has